Hi, welcome back. This is G-Man, My World 67. I have here that William Crookes, um, and I had done a previous video on it, but unable to get it out because the camera quit working. And so the first half of this video repair series, you won't get until I do the camera and get the first part of it back out, part one. But just wanted to review this William Crookes. It was broken on this corner, and you can see here I have repaired it, and it's missing the plume and the other little ball that goes on top. And it was damaged, and I filled this in. Ready to put the plume in it. Also, I made new handrails for it. Now, I actually made these out of a clothes hanger, a small clothes hanger. We're going to touch those up after we get them on. I went back over and cleaned the wheels on it, and I've still got to oil it before it's actually done. I forgot to mention in the first preview video that this smokestack was broken off originally, and I got it reattached, and it's a nice and solid stack. This was broken off also, and got this reattached, and I had this reattached in the earlier review. So right now what I've been working on is this roof and this cowling. Now, I got this cowling, as I said in the previous video, from my friend John Long. He sent it to me. He had one laying around, and he said, I don't know if it'll work on that or not. He says, but it's similar to the one that you need. I don't know what it came off of. He says, and I don't need it. I'm sending it to you. And so I managed to cut it down and get it on here. I had to trim some parts off of it. And then I had to go in and cut this Crookes open up here, as this had a solid piece all the way across. And I had to cut that open so that I could reach the flat side of this platform. Went in, cleaned that out, and then I took this cow catcher and drilled 2 holes down into it so that the wires here, the handrails that poke through the bottom, would go through it. And I think you can see it right there, and there. Then I glued this all on using a combination of the 2 cements, the testers, and the Duro, and mixed them together and put that on. Now, I didn't have to do it that way, but I found when you're using 2 different types of plastics, it's best to use both of those together. It works great. After I got it glued on and it set for a while, I went back and I put this plastic strip across the front of it to give it a facing and to bring it out even with the end of the platform. Worked out nicely, I think. Again, you can see where this window stanchion was broken and this one here was broken. And I went in and I reinforced it. You can see the piece of white styrene plastic where I reinforced it. I had mentioned earlier that most of these, when they get broken up, this rear end is the thing that breaks on most of them, where you connect the rear end hitch. And fortunately on this one, it was not broken. It's solid, it's all original, just like it was when it came out of the factory. And so we were blessed in that aspect. I have to not to repair that. I have repaired them in the past, and they can be repaired, but it takes quite a bit of work, because then after you repair it, you have to reinforce it. I had some Mars that were actually, I don't know whether they were glue Mars or from like a soldering iron. There was one right here and one So now what I'm going to do is, now that I've got this cowling done and I've got this portion done on the roof, I'm going to go ahead and touch up this area on the stack, and I'm going to touch up where I had to sand down this area where it was small a little bit. I'm going to sand this down a little more and finish cutting it, shaping it. And we'll probably do a little sanding right here. Just generally clean it up, finish preparing it. I did go back, as I said, and I cleaned the wheels some more. They still look kind of dirty to me, but I guess it's mostly because that the iron itself is kind of black. It's kind of dark colored. All right, I'm gonna set the camera down and we'll get to it. Now, for those of you who watched the original video when I first got this and unboxed it in the 2 passenger cars, or the tender, in the 2 or 3 passenger cars. Actually, I think there was like 6 passenger cars that came with this set, because it was a double set. It came with 2 tenders and 6 cars, 1 engine. The other engine, I imagine, got either sold off or was so busted up they just did not include it. We're going to go ahead and trim this down first. And this plastic is a thin styrene, which you can actually cut with a pair of scissors. I'm going to take and get my file if I can get it out. There we go. Now this is just an ordinary fingernail file. You can get a package of these at dollar stores for $1. They really come in handy when you're dealing with plastic. Now I could take the wheel to it and my Dremel and it'd be a lot quicker, but overall when I'm trying to shape something, it's better to do especially smaller areas by hand. We don't have a lot to do with this. Smooth it off. Make sure it's even with the rest of it. Feels pretty good, looks pretty good. Now I'm working kind of fast because I'm using my phone camera. Again, the other camera, as I said, just quit working altogether. I'm going to take the file to this first. It allows me to make sure everything is smooth and that there are no rough edges. It helps to cut down on the sanding. Now I had to take and put a lip on this side because as you can see it has one right here, but it's cut down back there on that back side. Now I can cut this one down with the scissors, but I can't shape it. Now again, that's something you can use your Dremel for. It looks pretty good. Now in the essence of saving time, I'm going to get the sandpaper out. I'm going to go over this area here, this one more time. I'm going to do this side here one more time. And I'm going to take the file and smooth this out just a little more. And then we'll be back and we'll go with the finishing touches.